Hey, it's Hunt. You found Hunt on Saints. We're talking black and gold football. Do us a favor, hit the like button, share your comments below, and hit that subscription button so you can get all of our content. Enjoy. Everyone's a little sour on the Saints right now, or a lot sour on the Saints right now, kind of depending on how you see things. If you want to see the huge picture of what this organization is right now, it's not very pleasant. If you want to take a snapshot of the division standings, you can still be engaged. And I fully support you being engaged in this team. I'm just telling you myself, from a coverage perspective, I'm not going to flip a switch on this team anytime soon unless they get real hot real fast. And of course, this is a good opportunity to do that because you're playing one of the better teams in the NFC. I'm not going to put Detroit on a plane with Dallas and Philly and San Francisco right now. But would it shock me if the Lions won the NFC? No. Again, I wouldn't pick them, but it wouldn't shock me. It would shock me if the Saints or Tampa or Atlanta won the NFC. But this is a good team, but you're at home. And of course, as we know, this is the best team on your schedule. If you can win this one, get on your horse. Giddy up. I just don't know about it. This is a Lions offense that is second in the NFL in yards per game, and they're seventh in the NFL in points per game. They've been really, really, really effective offensively. Now, last week they were held to 22 against Green Bay on Thanksgiving, thanks to Jared Goff turning the ball over. He fumbled 3 times, and that's what he'll do. And I think that's what it's going to take for New Orleans to win this game. Jared Goff has had 6 turnovers in the last 2 games. The Saints are third in the NFL in forcing turnovers. They are second in the NFL in getting interceptions. So if you're looking for a path for this Saints defense that, quite frankly, hasn't looked awesome for the last month, I thought they were awesome early. I've not thought they've been awesome the last month. Turnovers might be the key. Now, the pass rush hasn't been very good. So to think you're going to get back there and get after Jared Goff and chop a couple of balls loose is probably a little ambitious. Maybe you do, but And you don't have Lattimore, so we'll see what the secondary can do. Tyron had a couple of picks last week, and Adebo's been good. But that's probably where the Saints need to start defensively, is try to get some turnovers. 1, they're momentum changers. 2, they can give your offense a short field. And while that, generally speaking, sounds good, the Saints haven't exactly been very good in a short field. We know the red zone struggles that this team has come up with. It's hard to keep up with Detroit on offense. And when you figure that Derek Carr has not thrown a touchdown pass in his last 20 drives, that is better than a month. He hadn't thrown a touchdown pass since the first half of the Bears game. That makes it a little more difficult to keep up with Detroit, who's been so good on offense. So you got to get the ball into the hands of Alvin Kamara. He's been catching the ball a lot, hadn't been running it a lot, but the Saints haven't run it very well. If I'd have told you into December that Alvin Kamara, Jamal Williams, and Kendre Miller would have combined for 2 rushing touchdowns, I don't think we'd have felt very good about it. And there have been injuries, yes, but there's also been a gross inability to run the football. They've got to find a way to do that, especially because you're not going to have Chris Olave, we don't think. You're not going to have Michael Thomas, we know, and you're not going to have Raheem Shaheed. Your top 3 receivers probably not available. So you're rolling out Lynn Bowden, you're rolling out Keith Kirkwood, A.T. Perry, Marquez Callaway. Like, that's the cast of characters that's running out there to try to produce with a quarterback that hadn't thrown a touchdown pass in a month. Like, this is very, very tough to envision at this point. And that may not even be my biggest concern. This is something we talked about after the Jacksonville game. And now you've got to revisit it. I don't know what the Dome's going to be like on Sunday, y'all. I have real concerns about that. We talked to Luke Johnson yesterday. He's like, this place is angry. This town is pissed. And I get it. I've never lived in New Orleans, but I've spent a ton of time down there. I spent my full weeks down there as I was starting in the insurance business back in 2016. My wife now, when we were dating, she lived in Metairie, so I was down there a lot of weekends. And that city adores the New Orleans Saints. And this whole Breeze Payton era, you think about the primetime crowds in that dome and the absolute buzzsaw opponents were walking into. You remember that Patriots game? New England shouldn't even got off the bus. Dallas came in there for a primetime game. Zzz. And I have a feeling if this team settles for a field goal once or twice in the first half, if Derek Carr throws a pick six, or just if the Lions get up 7-0, 10-0, 14-0, that place is going to get ugly, y'all. And that is a concern. The Saints are 0-4 against the number at home this year. Now, you can't win and not cover this week because you're an underdog. And no one really cares if you cover the spread. You're just trying to win. But that suggests they're not performing up to their level at home. And that's without that place absolutely turning on them. And I'm concerned that's what we might see on Sunday unless the Saints get off to a hot start. And the Saints have gotten off the terrible starts over the last 5 or 6 weeks. That's the storyline I'm looking into. If the Saints can get off to a good start, the Lions are fallible. Look at last week. The Packers annihilated them. And there's just still a small part of you in the back of your brain that's going, it's still the Lions. Like, they never win anything. So I painted that rosy picture at the top of the show. I'm going, well, win this game. This is the toughest team on your schedule. Maybe that's where you can start to get a little bit better. But we've been saying that for a month, so I'm not going to tell you that's what I think is going to happen. And I'm concerned that a couple of punts and a Lions touchdown drive and then, an interception later, that dome is going to get nasty. And that's just not something I really was prepared for into year one of the Derek Carr era. But this is not like a secret. Those of you who are listening to this show, those of you that are watching on YouTube, those of you who have replied on Twitter and watch these games every week, like, it's a cranky fan base. And I think that dome could be not a house of horrors for the Lions on Sunday, potentially for the home team. And that's something that I'm a little bit concerned about. So, look, it's an uphill battle for the New Orleans Saints. I will pick this game at the end of the show, but when you think about the fact the Lions have been so good offensively, the Saints have been so inconsistent offensively, and you don't have the playmakers that we've thought would be the key to this offense in Olave, Shaheed, Thomas, and you haven't run the ball. Like, I think the Saints at full strength can score on the Lions because that Lions defense hasn't been great, but the Lions do score points. And if you're not getting takeaways, they're going to score. Can the Saints keep up? I don't know. I feel uneasy about it, and the Dome will probably let them know about it. So it'll be Saints and Lions coming up at noon on Sunday. First place Lions coming in with a 2-game cushion. The Saints trying to claw back into first place in a brutal NFC South. Hey, it's Hunt. Thanks for watching Hunt on Saints. Before you leave, help us out a little bit. Hit that like button, leave your comments in the section below, and hit that subscribe button so you get all our content right here from Hunt on Saints. We'll see you next time.